Boom. Welcome to every Hornets box score. Thank you so much for subscribing, whether you are a free subscriber or a paid supporter. A lot of people jumping on as paid supporters as we're digging in to the season. I've got the box score on the screen right now. The fourth game in this Charlotte Hornets season, a loss, 144, a shellacking, really, 144. One of my favorite words since I started podcasting, shellacking. I don't love it. It's not my favorite when the Hornets are on the other end of it. But 144-117, the final score, Miami shellacking Charlotte. Again, thank you for subscribing to every Hornets box score. Thanks for supporting what Evan and I are doing here and for supporting Locked On Hornets and Subtext and the Sicko Brigade and all the ways that you have made yourself a part of this community and allowed us to continue supporting this community with the content that we're providing here. And with that, Evan Hale of Hailstorm Sports, credentialed member of the Charlotte Hornets media. Look at him.
Sir.
Look at
Yes,
the
sir.
guy. All right, Evan, give me your observations here on this game against the Miami Heat.
You know, I want to be positive first because I try to be positive about the Hornets because usually it's negative. Dude, Knueppel is special, man. I'm in this group chat with these people. We talk about sports, and this one guy, I give him a hard time because he's Australian, but that's not important. But he messaged me. He's like, Knueppel's like this is before summer league and everything. He was like, Knueppel, I don't see the vision. He texted me last night. He said, I see it now. And he's like, I was wrong. And I was like, okay. I'm like, I didn't need that.
That's all you can ask of people.
I know.
Is that, and I had to do the same thing. Well, I wasn't negative on Brandon Miller. I wasn't like super high on him. I was much higher on Scoot, but I didn't see it all the way, particularly with the shooting. I didn't see it all the way with Brandon Miller. And so while I never apologized, I did go back and say, yeah, like I was probably a little under on his shooting, and it is real. And that's really all you can ask is that you continue to grow and understand that a lot of this stuff, when you're watching these guys, particularly when you're talking about things that are going to translate from college to the NBA level, you know, to me, so much of it is psychological and stuff that you really can't even game out. And is like, is he going to have, you know, the mettle to deal with NBA level defenses, NBA level bodies, NBA level handsiness? And that's what stood out to me in this game with Knueppel dipping and diving and juking his way into the paint, and seemingly the only Charlotte Hornet, other than maybe Colin Sexton, who could get into the paint against Miami and not cough the basketball up and instead make positive plays. It was amazing.
Yeah, no. And I don't know if it's the way they're recruiting at Duke, but I would say that the attitude and the mindset and just the strong-willed and strong head for both Khan and Sion. You really see that as how they play, like, and how confident they are on the floor, how comfortable they are on the floor. I don't know if that's how they recruit or if they're just, you know, that's just, you know, what they preach there and it gets refined. But they both have impressed me so much as rookies. I made a whole video on Sion and how I'm impressed with him. But no, Khan, he's just been so lights out. I mean, was it the most 3-pointers ever made in the first 4 games of a career? 30. What was it like? It was.
Well, he's up to 16 now. 16. He already really, if he makes 0 3-pointers in his 5th game, he'll still have the most 3-pointers through 5 games.
It's crazy
for any rookie in NBA history.
He's not making none too. I got put a stamp on it.
I can't imagine. I mean, the shooting is elite. The footwork is just a beauty to watch. His relocations off ball, you know, so much of it has been really fun to watch. And I think I'm not ready to like totally reevaluate the ceiling for Knueppel yet, but I'm getting there. Like if we're going to remodel this Knueppel house and put in a new ceiling, like I'm not ready to start construction, but my contractors have dropped off supplies. Okay. Like like the wood is there, you know, the tools are down, like people, they brought the stuff. And now I'm just waiting. Are we actually going to do the work? Yeah, we're getting permits. Exactly. We're getting permits, making sure that we're legal. but we haven't started the construction yet. But man, yeah, he's been fantastic. The Hornets as a whole in this game, not fantastic. This was the top offense in the league, or top 2 offense in the league, depending on who you looked at, in Charlotte, versus the top offense or the top 3 offense, or the top defense or the top 3 defense in Miami, depending on who you looked at. So this was Philadelphia they have good defenders, and they were physical with the Hornets, and the Hornets responded well. But ultimately couldn't get the shots at the end. You wonder now, after having watched this game, now looking back on that Philadelphia game, I go, man, were they, was part of the offensive struggles at the end of that Philadelphia game a sort of like they were dealing with the physicality of Philly early on, and they overcame it, but the cost was everybody was gassed at the end. Whereas in this one, they didn't really deal with the physicality at all. They just sort of coughed the basketball up, turned it over a billion times, didn't get back into transition defense. So many of the things that have gotten them wins over inferior teams, they finally faced a team in Miami that were ready to play, and the Hornets were not ready.
Yeah, no, I mean, and admittedly, like the shots just weren't falling for the Hornets, and they were falling for Miami. I mean, Miles Bridges, he went 6 for 16. I feel like five of the misses were down. They were all in, and they just rimmed out. Like they were shots that should have went in. I mean, LaMelo Ball. I'm gonna say this: LaMelo Ball. He had some moments that reminded me of the old LaMelo Ball, but I'm gonna keep the mindset that.
Okay, well, hold on before you go there. Go further. What do you, when you say old LaMelo Ball reminded you of that? What do you mean?
He was complaining with refs. Mm-hmm. He was, not getting back on defense. He took a couple bad shots. I wouldn't say his fouls were, maybe one was a little bit egregious, but most of them were, in the flow of the game fouls. Previously he would foul just, egregiously and out of frustration. He supposedly flipped off a referee. I did not see that. Allegedly, I didn't see it.
You got to say allegedly.
Allegedly.
I didn't do that. Yeah, I still haven't done the Zapruder film. We'll see if the fine comes down. It's just like when.
I feel like it would have already.
When a hand goes up and the referee is turned around and the other referee on the other side of the floor calls the tech, which is what I believe happened, and then the what also signaled it to me is that Dell and EC go completely quiet.
Yeah.
They don't say what the tech is for. They don't further examine it. No replays are shown. That's unusual, right? Even when it's a Hornet and they're mouthing off at someone, or it's Charles Lee, they'll go to the replay of it. This is no replay whatsoever. So yeah, I think you're right. This is what I wrote in my box score write-up, that this was a reversion to the old LaMelo Ball. And if you watch Locked On Hornets, we did Stagen or Klangen, and I said Klangen was LaMelo's defensive consistency, and it wasn't there in this one. And I think it was just as much, him wanting to rely more on his offense, or his offense not. It clicked, and then he sat for a while. A lot of criticism there for Charles Lee on sitting him for so long, but then he gets frustrated with the non-calls. And then the defense starts to slip, and then Pelle Larsson backdoors him 9,000 times, and then Jaime Jaquez just runs straight through him. So defensive consistency wasn't there. But the other thing is the maturity factor. It is whatever he did to pick up the technical foul. Even now, I know some people will say, okay, fine, but the game didn't matter at that point, right? The game was out of hand. That didn't cost them the game. There were so many things that happened before that cost them the game that had nothing to do with LaMelo Ball. And to that I say, what happens when the game really matters, right? Because it's all I'm in support of LaMelo Ball finding his voice in the locker room and being a mature player and watching that growth happen over the season. And there will be these reversions. And I think we have to give him some grace and a little bit of room to grow and to make mistakes. And we'll see how he responds against the Magic in the next couple of games. At some point during the season, he has to find some consistency with it, because if he doesn't, And there was this other replay that was going around of LaMelo Ball kicking the ball into the face of Davion Mitchell. He did not do it on purpose.
Yeah,
but
it was a fumble with it.
But it was a goof. But he was kicking it. It was a goof
Yeah.
off. And so, but when I look at stuff like that, I go, this is game number 4 in the regular season. LaMelo Ball's frustrated with the officials. What happens when it's game 6, Eastern Conference first round, Eastern Conference second round, Hornets are down 10, LaMelo's not getting a call? What happens then? The pressure cooker of the postseason changes players. Sometimes it changes them for the better and it creates superstars. Sometimes it exposes maturity issues. It did it for Miles Bridges. Remember the play-in game where he gets super frustrated, gets thrown out of the game, and then like tosses his headband, hits a young woman with the headband, right? Like the pressure cooker can sort of expose in a good way or a bad way whatever you've got going on inside of you. And so that's my concern ultimately with LaMelo Ball when we're talking about, is he a winning player? Can he be the best player on this team? He's the highest paid player, but can he be the leader? Can he be the best player? Look, nights like Miami keep the concern fire burning.
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel like, I know it's only game 4, so the first 3 games, it felt like I haven't seen that kind of LaMelo in a long time with how well he's been, getting up and playing defense, everything. I am going to be optimistic and say that progression isn't linear, and hope that maybe he is. Miami is a tough place to play. Another issue is I think that the Hornets are very, very well conditioned because they play so fast, and Miami also plays fast. So the later on in the game, it wasn't like they were outgassing the teams. You kind of felt them hit that wall because they were having to keep up with Miami as much as they were keeping up with them.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it was just a slight regression, and how he responds is what I'm concerned about. If he comes back to the next game, the Magic are known for having a really solid defense. If he comes back, maybe they have some respected defenders who get away with some fouls that don't get called. If that happens again, then I'll be concerned.
Yeah, because the Magic, they've been struggling on both ends of the floor to start the season. But then you go, is this a get-back game for them? Is this a get-right game for them? Because regardless of whatever struggles they've had, that is a big team and it is a physical team. Mm-hmm. The Hornets can be handsy. They can be disruptive. They can get into passing lanes. I wouldn't necessarily call them like the most physical team in the world. And so that's going to be really a challenge for them all season, is when they get hit, can they hit back in a smart way? Can they hit back in the way that's going to allow them to win, and not hit back in the way not hit Davion Mitchell in the face with a basketball that you've yeeted from the front of your foot? Can they hit back in a way that can actually win them the basketball game? We're going to see that as soon as this game against the Orlando Magic. All right, any final observations that you want to wrap up on this game before we get to tease ahead our Halloween costume ideas for the Charlotte Hornets?
I just want one thing. I feel like they weren't utilizing Musa enough on the offensive side of the ball. They kind of were thriving from, pick and roll at the top of the 3-point arc, feeding that person at the free throw line who set the screen, and then having Musa cut back door. He had 8 points, and I feel like all those points were late. They weren't. I know it was probably a defensive adjustment because Spoelstra is such a good coach, but they need to find ways to get like backdoor cuts involved and play smart. Because that's why guys like Sion were playing so well, is that he was getting the ball there and making the right play. And you have these guys who are making the right plays. They weren't setting them up to make the right plays. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's an interesting point as I look at the passing diagram. If you're watching the video, you obviously see it. If you are listening, go check out the video on our YouTube page or on Substack on everyhornetsboxscore.com. But I'm looking at this passing diagram from this great site that I subscribe to. It's called Pivot Fade, and it shows where sort of the offense is flowing by the assists that are being made. And just looking at this, I'm looking at 3 assists into Moussa Diabate and only 2 into Kalkbrenner. Kalkbrenner's been doing so much cleanup work we called him the trash panda on Locked On Hornets today because he's just in the garbage can, just making sure that he gobbles up as much of the garbage that comes off the rim as possible. And we say that in a loving way because he is doing elite damage with it. I gave this incredible stat on there as well, and I want you to hear it, Evan. He is in the 100th percentile. He is tops in the league among bigs in points per shot attempt at 180 points per 100 shot. Like if he took 100 shot attempts, he'd score 180 points.
That's
Usage, he's in the 0th percentile, aka he is at the bottom in usage. So that again, he is the trash panda, right? But you can see in this passing diagram, so much of the offense is flowing from guard to wing or wing to guard or wing to wing or guard to guard. And so this was sort of, one of the concerns heading into the season was like, hey, they've stacked this roster full of guards. Are the guards going to trust the bigs? Is the offense going to flow from guard to big? Can it flow from guard to big? Or is it going to be a lot of passing around the wing? When the offense is good, it's a little bit of both, and it's a lot of inside-out play. In this game against Miami, there were two problems. The first problem occurred early in the game when they kept driving relentlessly over and over and over, and Miami eventually adjusted, as they always do, by going to zone. And then they started picking pockets, and everybody was turning it over. And then the second level of that problem is they started to get away from it. And then it started to be like one guy taking the possession over or over dribbling Trey Man. Or over just being in the wrong place, Tijon Salon. Mm-hmm. So then the offense just evolves into like either one person ISO or pass it around the horn and then somebody yaks up a shot. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's, I don't know, maybe there is some way that they can get Musa more involved in the half court or Kalkbrenner more involved in the half court. Maybe that is a solution, or maybe it's, hey, you've got to get a big in here that is a little bit like can fly like Musa, but is taller, and that LaMelo can work over the top too. There's been a lot made in LA of Luka Doncic and DeAndre Ayton, and Luka has said like, I'm used to working with centers who I can just fly it up to. And we've seen LaMelo, who has he been flying it up to? It hasn't been Kalkbrenner. It hasn't been Musa. He's flying it up to Brandon. He's flying it up to Miles. Mm-hmm. So with Ayton wants everything in the pocket, and then he makes something happen from there. So it's an adjustment for Luka and Ayton, and I think it's probably an adjustment for LaMelo Ball and the rest of this crew getting used to this really entirely new center rotation, minus Mark and minus Nick Richards, who could also fly.
Yeah, no, definitely. You don't have that trust of throwing a lob up, because when you do, I mean, Kalkbrenner had an early one that just went right off his hands. I mean, he's done a lot of dirty work stuff, like you were saying, but he can just not catch passes sometimes. Yeah,
no, well, and I think that's,
we'll work on that.
Yeah, we'll give him a little time. 4 games, we'll give him just a little bit more time. But buddy, don't. I saw I just thought of Bismack Biyombo. I'm not going to say Biz. I'm not going to mention, Ryan and Biz in the same sentence. But what I am going to tell you is that I saw a tweet, and I think it's accurate, that Bismack Biyombo is going to finish, if he doesn't sign another deal, he's going to finish his NBA career having made $99 million.
That's crazy. Good for him.
Of course, good for him. Like, I'm not going to criticize that at all. Go and make all the money in the world being big. and Biz was big. Mm-hmm. And I watched him do the Euro step in the FedEx Forum. Okay, it's amazing. When Musa, by the way, he's doing a lot of Euro stepping. He's doing a lot of finishing in transition. He's great. All right. By the way, 3 assists from him. I'm looking at this, like the most assists were in this game were LaMelo to Khan and LaMelo to Miles, which I don't know if we talked about this or on LOH, but I said like Khan does such a great job of handing it to LaMelo and immediately making a move.
Yeah.
And going, I'm going to get because what happens is the defense either shades towards LaMelo and off of Khan, or they just go straight trap on LaMelo, and Khan is the recipient. But too many times last season, it was somebody not named Khan who
Fossil
was
Mitrovic.
just slowly getting into position, not
Hmm.
being ready to catch, or dipping down to the rim. Where if you're a small, LaMelo's just got no shot to get you the ball in that situation.
Yeah.
So Khan instead, he does his little, Texas or where no, he's from Wisconsin two step, and Midwest two step into the corner and just gets ready to yam a three. So yeah, man, can't say enough good stuff about Khan. All right, let's move on. Let's do some Hornets costume ideas. These are Halloween costume ideas for Hornets players. Let me get my doc all set up here,
Yes,
and
sir.
not cover our faces. What do you think? What's your first costume idea for the Charlotte Hornets?
These were the first ones that I thought of was a group costume. It was two guys, just because of how they've been playing. I got Colin Sexton and I got Sion James as Sonic and Knuckles.
Oh my God, I love that idea. I can just see,
Yes.
I can see Colin spinning like a blue
Hmm.
blurb, going around the loop-de-loop, collecting the coins, not hitting the spikes where all the coins go everywhere.
Being
Man,
aggressive, moving fast.
oh, it's fantastic. Who's Dr. Robotnik in that situation? Who's their enemy? I don't know.
Mo
Maybe it's
Wagner. I don't know.
we'll see. Yeah, I guess. All right. Yeah. So that's great. Sonic and Knuckles. I'll go to another rookie in Ryan Kalkbrenner, and I'm just going to go easy here as I work my way into this segment. And I'll say Ryan Kalkbrenner, mummy, right? I mean, he's a little bit. This is what I wrote in the box score that I didn't mention in my recap on Locked On Hornets. So I'll mention it here. Like, the funny thing about Kalkbrenner is that nothing that he does on the floor looks imposing. Like, it doesn't look dominant. And yet somehow he blocks Bam Adebayo. Somehow, he scores 10 points on one shot somehow without taking any free throws. I don't need the math. The math doesn't even math with
Yeah.
Ryan Kalkbrenner, but he somehow makes this thing happen. But it doesn't look, he could have the same exact stat line as Mark Williams. And I think people would ooh and ah at some of the things that Mark Williams did. You don't ooh and ah at Kalkbrenner, but it's all the same. Like, it's all the same production.
I've been going back and watching old games from the '90s just because I was born in '99. I like to know about old basketball. Kind of like George Mirasan. He kind of just waddles down the court and he just does stuff. And he doesn't look like he's gonna do anything. And he blocks a shot or he gets a layup or something. Like, it was something like that,
Yeah. No, and then that's why he's the mummy, because like it's slow, but it's effective. It's slow, but eventually maybe Michael Myers would also be,
Yeah.
right? Like who
I have
else was like super slow?
I have a Michael Myers actually for a player, especially now. I have Grant Williams,
Michael
especially with that
Myers,
post injury. He's slow, but he's deadly and he's effective.
and we're just waiting. We're just waiting
waiting.
we're just waiting on his return. And that's what we're always waiting on, Michael Myers to return. It's a fantastic call by you. Grant Williams is Michael Myers. Love it. I want to save LaMelo Ball. I've got to, because I kind of want to go
I
a little
couldn't think
bit.
of one. I couldn't think of one for LaMelo. I just said something trendy for him. So I'm glad you have a good one for him. I have a really funny one for Brandon though. Like, really funny one for
Okay,
Brandon.
hit me with Brandon's.
I have Brandon being the king of England because he doesn't appear as often as you want him to, and he's only in the news because of injuries and health. Doug, I'm really proud of that one.
Now, when you say that's funny,
I meant health. I meant health, not injuries. But you know what I'm saying.
I know exactly, and like Brandon. Unfortunately, I say this with
Yes,
like all
with love.
the sadness in my heart. Like right now, he seems ceremonial instead of like truly impactful. Like he's making laws, he's changing things. That when he's on the floor, like in the Nets game, like when he's on the floor, you start to see it. But then before you can really get into it, you're right. The health stuff sets him back. But when you said King of England, my head went immediately to Hamilton and the King of England in that
Yeah.
play, like the sort of colonial King of England, not the Prince Charles, now King Charles England.
Yeah.
But all those kings had health issues. Like being a king, you weren't getting on the treadmill a lot, right? Like you
Yeah.
weren't like you're older typically when you
Hmm.
assume it, and you don't do a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's not Brandon. Brandon does a lot. He just burns super bright.
Hunting some bodies too, you know.
All right, I've
Take,
got one for yeah. No, you're right. I've got one for Sion, and
Mhm.
he's gonna be a werewolf
I like that.
because A, he's got that dog in him.
Hmm.
But B, he just has the ability. He's not a werewolf in the sense of like he's normal and then he's great. He's a werewolf in the sense that he transforms the entire team when he's on the floor, right? The team becomes something newer, different. The moon gets full, the clouds move
Yeah.
away from the moon, and then the Hornets get more intense defensively when Sion is on the floor.
Hmm.
And he's hitting shots. My God, he's hitting
Yes.
shots. He will not miss. I don't know that it's sustainable. Like I think Khan is an elite shooter, and he
Hmm.
will maybe not 16 threes over the course of 4 games. It'll settle into something, not that.
Hmm.
But I think that's sustainable. I wonder about Sion shooting. I wonder, like, ooh, what happens when they don't have his 9 points on 3 threes,
Hmm.
every single game, seemingly. But we'll see there. But Sion definitely werewolf, Wolfman, Michael J. Fox. That's Sion.
I like that. I made a comment in my video that I made about him that the Hornets DNA and like what they
Teen
want to
Wolf.
do. He is like the due north of the compass for the Hornets DNA.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just like he's exactly the player that I'm happy to have on the team.
Yeah,
Uh,
you could look at them drafting 4 rookies and then like immediately playing most of them. Well, now
mhm.
all of them with Brandon out and Liam McNeely getting run, and you could look at that and say, man, they must have been really desperate. Or you can look at that and say, this was their opportunity to find their kinds of players to set.
Mhm.
Because look, if OKC taught me anything, it's that you have to have the message received from guy number 1 down to guy number 15.
Mhm.
Like everybody has to buy in. So this was their opportunity. Draft 4 guys, get them into the system, and they're going to carry up the bottom and then
Mhm.
work their way up with that message in tow. So yeah, just loving, and they just nailed it. Whoever they have doing the psychological evaluations, doing the dog evaluations, like whoever that guy is, don't ever let that like lock that guy in a room and don't let her or gal, don't let them out of the room ever,
No,
because
never.
they're a treasure.
I just I'm just imagining somebody locked in a room in the sections and not being able to
Lock
get
him
out.
in with Mitch Kupchak, and I still don't believe Steve Clifford is gone. I
I
think that
think
was a
Steve Clifford might be that guy. Honestly, he might be the
I,
dude we're talking about.
well, Clifford, they say he went to Phoenix. I don't buy it. I think it's a psyop. I'm just going to say it
Yeah,
right now.
I
Conspiracy
respect that.
theory. Steve Clifford's still in the basement. They needed a cover. He's still in the basement somewhere, looking at Lithuanian league basketball with whoever it is that has the dogometer. All right, what's your next costume idea?
So I'm thinking of the last rookie on there, just so he doesn't feel left out. I got Liam McNeely. It's just Jackie Moon. The headband, the hair, the attitude. It just feels, he gives Will Ferrell vibes as a whole.
Yeah, I love that. It's a little bit like Jackie Moon meets Joe Dirt.
Yes.
Like it's
Yeah.
does it grow in all white trash like that? No,
Must.
but look, he's rocking it. I kid, but I love the look. Liam's rocking it right now. Offense has got to come along a little bit. It's not been. He's been the one rookie where it hasn't been bango right out of the gate. But you know, plenty of time for Liam McNeely. Probably should be in Greensboro. Probably will
Mhm.
go to Greensboro.
He's gonna
As
kill
soon
a
as
deeper
that,
there.
yeah, as soon as that makes sense. Still super high on what Liam McNeely could be. But I love the Jackie Moon costume idea. And really, that's not even a costume idea. That's like put a different jersey on and
Yeah.
boom, like you're there. That's me. That's my kind of costume idea. I love I'm the Jim Halpert. I'm the like put a name tag on. Like I don't,
Yeah.
now that I have a kid, the kid wants me to do fun things. So,
Hmm.
the baby forces me to do things. But my MO pre baby was, simplest costume possible. But that would be the Liam McNeely play.
Yeah, I have a couple on the nose ones too of just Musa as a moose and Trey Man as Spider Man.
Okay.
I mean, those are just on the nose, but
Yeah, we're just doing nameplay. Like, is there a Spider Man? Is there
well,
a
he has a tattoo. He has a Spider Man tattoo. He does a celebration with the Spider Man when he hits threes. You haven't seen it much this year because he hasn't hit a lot of threes.
Well, that's what. So yeah, I mean, I think right now Trey Man is Spider Man. What is it? Spider Man 2 when he's being passed along, like he's broken, bloodied. Like that's Trey Man right now. Maybe. I mean, hopefully not. I mean, that's sort of what we talked about a little bit on Lockdown Hornets too. Is like really fingers crossed because A, Trey seems like a great dude, and B, the Hornets just paid him money, and C, they actually need him to play well to be a good team. But like, you really hope that this is not a situation where it's like the back has made it slightly different for him to do the things that he was doing when he was Trey I.
Yeah, I'm not concerned. I'll tell you, I'm not concerned. Have you watched his step back, his like crossover, like the back pull? It's the fastest crossover I've ever seen in my entire life. I've never seen somebody move that fast with the basketball. I think that he's just gotta. Maybe his shooting's a little different now, but the way that he moves with the ball in general is okay still. Maybe he just got to get back in the flow of things a little bit.
Yeah, with great contract comes great responsibility, Trey. So I'm gonna need you to step it up a little bit. And certainly, look, he wants it. Like he is probably kicking himself right now for these performances, and I'm sure the team is telling him, stay with your process. It's gonna be fine. Just keep doing what you're doing. You'll work yourself out of this. You haven't played basketball in a while. And hopefully Trey figures this out. All right, are you ready for my LaMelo Ball costume idea?
I'm so ready.
The name is not the name of the costume is not going to just like knock you off your socks, okay? So you can keep your socks on. But I'm gonna go with Mr. Mr. Ball. Or Dr. Ball, sorry. Dr. Ball and Mr. Hyde.
I like that.
And really he can just dress up as a Hyde, which I didn't really know was like a thing in scary lore until I watched the Wednesday show on Netflix. But like Hydes are like a thing in that show. People who can transform into a beastly version of themselves. And you can take this two ways. You can say LaMelo still has that ability to go flames over the course of a quarter, like to completely transform himself and to take over an entire quarter. Saw it against Miami, 15 points, dominated that first quarter. I'm sort of taking this in the direction of like the Hyde being a bad thing, as if you asked Dr. Jekyll, he would not be like, man, I love transforming into a Hyde. It's so
my
great.
favorite thing to do.
Right. It ruins his life. And, you know, the Hyde for LaMelo Ball is a little bit what we talked about in the first half of the show, which is getting frustrated, taking himself out of the game, even if he's on the floor. And last season we saw him completely take himself out of the game with fouling. So that's the Hyde version for LaMelo Ball right now. And, you know, he's got to find a way to just stay Dr. Ball and to dish out medicine against the other team as opposed to his own team.
Yeah, no, I definitely can see both ways you're saying that, and I like the idea of that.
All right, any other costume ideas before we get out of here?
Yeah, I got a couple rapid fire ones really fast. I got Khan as Neo. I feel like he just sees everything. He understands it. He's tapped in. You know, I could see him with the glasses and the trench coat.
I question whether he could do the Neo like full back bend. Like maybe then at that point I would say, all right, Khan's athletic. Like, you know, he's fully NBA athletic. If he can do the back bend that Neo does to avoid the bullets, then yeah.
Bullet time.
I like it.
Okay, I got Pat Connaughton as Indiana Jones. He's kind of an old, charismatic teacher. Can adventure a little bit, though, you know? I mean, you saw his last game in Milwaukee last year. He had like 43 points. He can still get out there and you know, kick some butt if he's got to. But for the most part now, he's just kind of on the sideline as a teacher.
Yeah, he's not. He's not. You're saying he's not Indiana Jones of like the original trilogy. He's Indiana Jones in the refrigerator, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, like the one that came out in like 2009 that sucked.
yeah.
And then I got Tijan Salon as a bottle of wine. He's French. He's getting better with age, just slowly.
Yeah, that's such a great. Oh my god. Like yeah, he is a bottle of Merlot. I love that. Just like you, but do the Hornets have time to put him down in the cellar and wait until he vintages out? Because like, whew, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I would say like, thankfully, his shooting has been there,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, I mean, that's been the big revelation that he can hit those deep threes, and some of them have been extremely timely threes.
Mm-hmm.
That's been a big benefit of the Charlotte Hornets, and something that allows you to at least reconcile the moments where he just absolutely has no idea where to be, or cuts to the wrong location, or just gets confused with the basketball and has to toss it back out. That to me like was a huge story. There were so many storylines of that Miami game, like the Hornets consistently trading threes for two or twos for threes. That killed them. They lost the math
Mm-hmm.
game. But so many times the Hornets were driving without a plan. And Miami does that to you. Miami, with the way they play defense and they cut off the elbows and they do all the zone stuff, they junk it up. Like they confuse you.
Mm-hmm.
Spo's really good at that. And then at the end of the game, adjusting and putting Bam Adebayo, taking Ware off the floor so that Kalkbrenner had to guard Bam Adebayo on the 3-point line. That was like a Mortal Kombat fatality move, right? Like that was ripping your heart out, showing it to you, and then you fall to the floor, game over, fatality.
Mm-hmm.
Because Kalkbrenner is not going to be able to do that. The Hornets know he can't. Whenever you see Kalkbrenner give up a three, I just want you to understand the Hornets understand that that's going to happen. That's the plan. Kalkbrenner cannot get up and guard. He can do who popularized this? I think it was Cornette.
Yeah, it was Luke Barnett. The hands up, block
Hands
the
up,
rim.
and then a clap, or whatever. It's like it's fake defense. It's psychological. It's not.
They say they cover the side of the rim, so you can't see it when you're shooting it.
You're right. You're right. He does exactly. He raises the hand straight up. You're right. There's somebody. Maybe it's Grant. I've been thinking of Grant. There are a couple of guys who do the clap.
Yeah.
So these guys are like, look, I'm not going to be able to recover back to you, so I got to do something. Unknown. There's no science on it yet, whether it's like super effective. I think they tried to do something with the Cornette thing where they like looked at it, from like a visual perspective, and they were still a little inconclusive about its effectiveness. But yeah, so just understand like the idea is, I mean, really the whole idea is like, hey, we're going to be fast. We're going to shoot well. And that's going to counter, the 2 to 3 triples that we give up as a result of Kalkbrenner not being able to get out there and guard.
And if it's bad enough, they'll just put Musa in and have him guard the perimeter because he can do that.
And they've done that. Yeah.
I have one more as well. I skipped it. I have Miles as a Blue Angels pilot because he's so exciting to watch as a high flyer. And we love watching it. But God, we're a little scared that he's going to crash and burn every time we watch.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, right now shooting under 40% on the year, that surprised me. Maybe I was mixing up my preseason Miles, or maybe it's the inconsistency. Like there have been halves of great Miles and halves of awful Miles. And so then when you toss those together, you get a Miles that on the season so far after 4 games is pretty much the same highly efficient Miles. It doesn't look as bad, although it did against Miami. He did the step back 3. He did all the stuff that you're like, oh man, I remember that from last season. There was like LaMelo was not the only player reverting in that game against Miami, but yeah, it just like it's weird, man. Like he looks different physically. He looks thinner. He looks like he can fly a little bit higher. Obviously, that jam that he had
Against Washington.
Against Washington, that's right. Against Washington, that had everybody up out of their seats. Like there's still stuff there, but like that's cool. That's neat. That gets the people going. But if he's going to shoot under 40%,
I think he had a really bad first half in that Washington game, and then came back and had a decent second half. So I think he's had I think he has been better overall better, but he's had a couple stinkers, and when he kind of shoots himself out of those. And some like when you're playing Washington, you can recover, but when you're playing Miami, it's a little harder to do that.
Well, we all know that LaMelo did not call him a bum. He called him the other B word, which we all know is bottom level efficiency player, right?
Yeah, I think that's exactly the B word I was thinking of.
You had him as a Blue Angel, right?
Blue Angel, yeah.
All right. Blue Angel, Colin and Sion, Sonic and Knuckles, Ryan Kalkbrenner, Mummy,
Yeah.
Grant Williams, Michael Myers, Brandon Miller, King of England, Sion, Werewolf, Liam McNeely, Jackie Moon, Trey Mann, Spider-Man, Musa, Moose, LaMelo Ball, Dr. Ball, and Mr. Hyde, Khan as Neo, Pat as Old Indy. That belongs in a museum. Tijan Salon, Bottle of Wine, Miles Bridges, Blue Angel, your costume ideas for the Charlotte Hornets. Thank you, Evan, for all that you're doing here on Every Hornets Box Score and all the contributions you made to this episode. Thank you to everyone that is out there subscribing, telling friends, reading the box score drops that we do, sharing those with folks. That always helps. This whole thing has grown organically. We've never bought a single ad. We've never put a single ad into anything that we've ever done, and I would love to keep it that way, and your support definitely helps that out. And this podcast, I want to keep it completely free and completely ad-free. So if you can, please do consider supporting and get into the chats that we do. Evan's in the chat.
Oh, yeah.
I'm in the chat most games. And sometimes, Evan's been doing some of the box scores. We're going to have Nick Thomas, great draft analyst and good Hornets, great Hornets mind as well. He's going to be doing some box scores. It allows me to kind of step back, watch the game in a different way, and also get into the chat a little bit more. So, I love chopping it up in there with everyone. It's a great community. So please consider supporting the podcast. Evan, any final words before we get out of here?
Can I plug something really fast? Is that okay? Okay,
sure.
So me and my buddy Lee the Hornet, we're having an event at the local on Saturday. It's from 4 to 5:30 downtown Charlotte before the Timberwolves game. It's free to go. We're gonna do some giveaways and stuff. Have a good time. Lee set it all up. I'm just the guest of honor. I'm just wearing my cape out there because that's what I'm kind of known for, being the Super Hornet. So if you guys want to come out, love to have you. Local, it's a Crown Club's putting on. They're good people over there. We have tickets in section 229. So if you want to sit with us while we go to the game, I kind of forgot to plug this last week when I should have because we already sold out of our tickets. But would love to have you guys there.
That's great. I'm so jealous of everyone that gets to be there, including Evan. I wish I could be there, but it's Halloween weekend. It's a big weekend in this family. There's a great comedy music act named Nick Lutzko, and he does all these great Halloween songs, and one of them is about Pumpkin Man. And we've convinced the baby that Pumpkin Man exists and put up all the Halloween decorations. She is madly in love with Halloween. So
Love that.
It's a sacred holiday here, so I've got to respect it. Wish I could be there. Maybe I'll FaceTime in. So
you have to
carry your phone, Evan, and you'll carry me around. Put me wear a shirt with a pocket. And
I can do that.
Put me in your pocket.
I'll get one of those ones you wear on your neck, the. It's also my birthday on Sunday, so you better be there.
Look, I'm gonna Venmo you. Here's what I need you to do: go to Target, get a Roomba, and get a broom. Attach the broom to the Roomba, and then the phone to the broomstick, and then guide me around.
Doug Branson Broombas, patent pending.
Doug Broomba. I love it. All right. Thanks again. We'll see you next week here on Every Hornets Box Score. Until then, for Evan, I'm Doug saying go Hornets, go America. Let's swarm Charlotte.